Hello.
You want to play this?
We'll do this again. Hello, and welcome to
Hello.
Open Decklists. I am your technically incompetent host, Kikai, and I'm joined this afternoon by. You're echoing back, by the way, yay. Oh, wait, no, that's me. I really am technically incompetent today. Man, okay, we're here, we're live. I'm here, I'm joined by Not Yay. He knows what he's doing.
Hello. Let's play this turn of this game to not annoy our opponent and then introduce ourselves. What's your plan here?
So we just
test this remote?
We don't want to test it without the bravado, right?
Yeah, I think you're fine to just leave it.
So we just draw up and see what we get.
Drawing, yeah.
Oh, we could test it now. You
can melange and put out of the remote. That seems kind of good.
Oh, you actually want to get in? I just want to see what the ice is. I don't want to get in.
Is this like, what do we think like there? Is it an economy asset or like an eminent push, right? I don't know if we care to get in, but yeah, you could bravado it. We're gonna keep drawing then, I suppose.
We just in case. I just want to see what it is. I want to force the res.
That one, yeah. Draw.
We get boomerang. Fun. We could get the mal down now.
I didn't just install one of those, yeah. Melandridgem. Biggest glow up of any card with rotation, I think. I know you were playing it in Steve already, but yeah, good card.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it in Boundhouse Steve. It was quite a late development in that deck, but it did so much. It was just so much easier to play than Boomerang.
Yeah.
I hate installing Boomerang on unres dice. What a Plutus res.
Just for money by the looks of things. Yeah, I imagine this Nuvum is going to be very rich, but so we might. Yeah, they're defending the remote, which is fine for us.
Mm-hmm. So it's really petty cash is the only real threat with the Plutus, right? We don't really care about money, I guess.
It's going to let them res their ice, but I think we just have to win that race. So I think we're drawing. We can play the Carpe Diem this turn, play the Class Act this turn, but let's try and draw a Swift first. Not quite it. I would Carpe Diem before Class Act. Before I could get away even.
Yeah, we get a bit more freedom with the getaway, right? To go wherever.
Yeah. Draw in Class Act. Seems good. Still not seeing deep dive, but we do have a lot of pieces that will help us win this game. So.
Right. The longer we can wait to play the deep dive, the more agendas are going to be in play.
Yeah.
So, like, this doesn't feel uncomfortable yet.
Nope. Yeah. In terms of directing comments towards the viewers, I think the goal here for us is just to show off a pretty strong runner deck. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, like Deep Dive Sable, I think is a deck that you need to be thinking about.
Yes.
It is possibly the best runner deck. It is certainly a major threat. And it's something that's been giving you real issues, right?
Yeah, I lost to this in tournament again when Soccer was playing it. Archives is the mark again. I would just
set up.
I would run Archives this turn, but I would just play the good cards. You got 2 Boomerang in hand? I didn't even know there were 2 Boomerang in the list. We don't need to play those Boomerangs.
Oh, so what, you think Bravado Archives this turn? I quite like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think you saw the Shibboleth first, and then play the Shrill Gamble, and then Bravado Archives.
That would make sense to me. I don't know what we're doing with our last click.
Yeah. That's a 4 strength hammer. We can break that with our revolver. Do we care about all the subs? We don't have any hardware, right? Is it hardware or resource? What's the...
Yeah, it's resource or hardware. But
do we care about that subfire?
I mean...
I think we can afford to break it. Yeah, I think we fully break. The revolver counters aren't that precious in the matchup.
We just boomerang this R&D ice.
You could just install that. What's your last click gonna be?
Maybe we should be drawing.
I would be tempted to just draw. We can chuck out one of these cards. It's fine.
Oh.
Swift is a good one.
Get rid of the maintenance access.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be that useful this matchup.
Because of the hammer on the archives, right? Like archives is actually looking tougher than HQ, and we know that more ice will come down in HQ, but even so.
Yeah. The Swift is really nice. I really like playing 6-click runner.
Jonathan says, surely you take the tag and clear it if you want to save a counter. I think that sounds reasonable to me. But I don't know how much we value the counter, like you say. More agendas.
Input bounty definitely like paid off for us this game, but I don't know. I don't know that I would have cared to install it any other turn of the game than turn 1.
Yeah, like you say, we drew it turn 1. So we see a couple of agendas getting shuffled back into R&D, which we don't hate as long as they're not. Yeah, as long as they're not getting scored, it's fine. If they're getting scored, then they're coming out of the game. Yeah,
I don't know if we care to challenge that spin doctor on the table, but
I think we should just to keep the Corp honest.
Yeah, but we definitely start by drawing, I think.
I guess we're discarding this turn if we're not playing Boomerang, so maybe we bottom the getaway and just discard the Swift.
No, I'd play a run event and run HQ this turn.
Oh, that's true. We could, yeah, of course, the mark's on HQ. Okay.
You're going to take 6 clicks, so it's like you can afford to draw again, play a run event on HQ, and then play some cards after that.
I think I want to run server 3 first. Because if we get the draw, it might bring an agenda into HQ.
I agree with that.
Plutus is kind of threatening a fast advance here.
Yep. And these Plutus fast advance decks can care about slash and burn and stuff like that, so makes sense to me, And
we're just poking HQ. Petticash Novum is absolutely filthy, says Jai. You don't need Plutus to make it good.
Clean getaway, and see what we see at Winchester. That's going to come down on HQ, which will be slightly annoying. We can afford to draw because we're going to check out this Swift anyway. And yeah, I guess play the Boomerang.
Boomerang on R&D, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then throw out the Swift.
I think so. Joey, what's your thoughts on it? You think Novum's a good deck? Better than Zwicky?
I've really been enjoying Zwicky. I've been playing a fast advance Wiki and just really enjoying it.
I was testing against a little bit of it yesterday and I was quite impressed. In the context of all Corps being bad, it was one of the least bad.
It's been getting good results. It's difficult to tell whether those results, how much of the heavy lifting, like measured response, is doing there. But it's definitely not just winning because of free measured response wins. Oh my, okay, that's a turn.
Yep, this is what we were scared of, right? But I think we should still have the tools to get past all of this when we need to.
Yeah.
Hit the Blueberry Diesel and then figure out how it works with the Class Act, yeah.
Alright.
Do we want to move you release the boss deck? Yes.
Yeah.
We don't want transfer.
We don't want transfer, right.
And then we draw the card we want, which is the Deep Dive. The Estebrado will be useful, I think.
Wait, what choice am I at here? Am I now bottoming or am I picking?
Yeah, you're now class acting, I think.
Choose one. Alright, so I bottom the Blueberry, right?
Yep.
Okay. We're not going this turn? Because we're a click short?
Yeah, you could do something to run archives and just get some money and some extra clicks and not have to throw something out. Like, if you're going to end up throwing out one of these Estebrados, then maybe you play one to run archives, but realistically, I think we're throwing out the transfer. Maybe we're not. They've got a lot of ice to res.
Wait, if we run this turn, we still get a 2-click deep dive, right? because we get Swift and we get Sable.
That is true.
So maybe we just
Um,
ship it.
Yeah, I think you could do that. You might struggle, but you'll at least force some reses. Where are you going to start by running? Archives?
Yeah, you start with Archives, right? With a clean
There's going to
getaway.
be a Winchester on HQ, so we need to use our revolver for one of these. This is going to be the issue, right? Is that the Winchester and the hammer are going to overtax our revolver, and we can't melange from either of them.
All of a sudden, we really want that extra revolver counter. So we've got Estebrado though, right? So I'm thinking we get away.
Archives Estebrado HQ?
Yeah.
I think you could ship that and feel comfortable with it.
Maybe we start with the Estebrado.
Yeah, do it. See what happens.
Start with the Estebrado and HQ just to see what happens. Because we know there's no... Yeah, okay, that's what we expected.
Hey, that's the one we wanted. And then if this isn't a second Winchester, cool.
Okay, so now we're just breaking these with Shibboleth, right?
Yep. Shibboleth isn't bad yet. I thought Ziki was better than Uvam until about 4 hours ago. The old seamless rush build we co-built at the start of the RWR meta got a lot of tools. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Logjam.
Alright. So money's looking a little bit tight.
When you get away Archives though, you'll be
yeah, I don't know whether we get away Archives now or...
Yeah, I think
we do.
We should dive this turn. Yeah. Actually, wait. Do we want to dive this turn? Are we going to be safe from MR?
That's something. It feels like something we should have thought about before.
Yeah.
Before we started.
Let's go Archives and see what happens.
I feel a little committed at this point.
Yeah. Are you going to put the tag or not?
I think we kind of have to float the tag because otherwise we're not going to be able to dive again.
I kind of agree.
I think we're going to be a credit.
We run R&D. I think we can get into R&D for 0 most of the time.
Yeah, and then we should
money off of them.
It really depends what that outermost is. Like, this could go terribly wrong. But the problem is that if we play Estebrado, we end up...
Well, we're going to end up on 3 cards in hand anyway.
Yeah, but we need 8 credits, right? And if we play Estebrado, we end up on 7 credits.
I just run R&D. I don't feel too scared.
I think this could just be the end.
What ice do you think?
Oh, this is actually fine. Like, if this had been anything that, like a barrier or a code gate that was above strength 3.
We're not going to be able to end on 8, though.
Oh, wait, did I?
No, you didn't overpay, it's just the cost.
Break.
Oh, you want the tag up on the
trash program as well. This is just a normal run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so this should be... And then... So we break...
That. Oh, it's the classic revolver is slightly awkward on JDAP. Nope. Break the boomerang. Okay, so you have 2 choices here now.
Well, we deep dive, right?
You deep dive, choose to only access 1 so that we don't end up on too many points, or you just take the risk and go all in.
We can see, because if we see a bunch of measured responses...
We see 2 basalt spires. Are there any money in the bin?
So... We steal 1 basalt, but not the other, I guess?
I think that's correct.
And then we probably click for a credit. Oh man, this seems bad either way.
We're not.
We draw a
We're
card,
not.
maybe.
We're going to be able to protect 3, so we don't need to actually defend ourselves from measured response. But so
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I guess we draw a card then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're probably going to end up being a long way away from doing our second dive. But I guess we just have to see how that goes.
But worth saying that the remote isn't secure, so
We are picking up the descent and putting something back down. We didn't actually expend it yet. Playing Gov Sub.
also worth saying that these hammers don't end the run. I think we're just drawing cards here and getting ready for the next dive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably need that Kurapira.
We probably do.
It's expensive though.
It is. Okay, we're building a second remote. Oh yeah, the new home is back up to 24 credits. Cool, blimey.
Yeah. So are we challenging this? Are we just letting it go?
I don't know what do we think they could be installing?
Yeah, it's only really agendas that we're interested in, right?
Do we think they put an agenda there? I don't think so.
No, I don't think
But
so.
I don't know what is it. It's probably an anthill or something.
And that's okay. I think we're fine with that.
Yeah, we don't care about that money.
We want this deep dive, I guess.
Yeah, bottoming it feels a little rough. So yeah, we'll do that, and then we just need to chart our course towards winning the game.
So if we just need money, I think.
Yeah.
So we just click for credits and get rid of this class act.
I agree.
So we're not at threat 4, so Melandrogym isn't online. We can boomerang this Winchester, or we can Estebrado. But I kind of
threat 4, right? For the second ability.
I kind of want to save. Yeah, it's an agenda. Okay, I kind of want to save the Estebrado for the final deep dive run because I want to let this hammer fire.
Okay. I don't think our opponent has like a particularly coherent scoring plan. I think they do just want to, because they looks like they're on the 5/3s and the eminence, so they're not planning on fast advancing the 5/3s. So I think that we can afford to be slow. They just have all of the ice in the world.
We kind of need another Estebrado here, right?
Yeah, I think that will be the key to doing it.
So if we draw once a turn, I'm not drawing light low because we're drawing for a specific card, right? So the Blueberry Diesel is quote unquote better. And then clicking for credits and do we put the boomerang on the table?
I think you could do
boomerang the archives ice.
Yeah.
I don't love that it's unlocked the remote, but
This is such a weird game. I've not seen this kind of maneuver before.
I think we're good.
Old Netrunner in me looks at 2 tags and winces. But think about it, Port. Even older Netrunner is like, we've just landed a Siphon, it's great. Our opponent has got to 2 points.
Alright, so we're just going to find this other Estebrado, I think.
Yep. Right, what's happening here? Okay, so we get to bottom one of those. We don't want the light low. We get to play the gamble. Click for credits, and next turn we might have a credible.
Yeah, I think
Dice
so.
set.
I think we do.
What did you think of my stream title, by the way?
I thought that was
Kikai.
excellent. Yeah, I thought that was very, very good.
You mentioned it to me like yesterday, this morning, and I was like stewing it for ages, trying to think of a good pun. I felt like it was within reach, and then it came to me all at once. Right. So, do we have a dive plan here?
We should do.
Oh. No worries.
We should be able to dive here, right? Like this deck doesn't play copulation, which I actually think
I've really liked the copulation in our version of Dive Sable.
I think it really it's just like the cherry on top. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't I don't care where your agendas are. They're mine now.
So is the plan that you're just gonna let hammers fire?
I think yeah, so like if this deep dive doesn't land, we've lost, right? Like,
yeah, I think so.
So like, why do we? I don't know that we care. As long as we sequence this properly, I don't know why we care about the hammers firing.
I think that makes sense. So what's the plan here? We're Estebradoing HQ. We're Melandrin bypassing an Afshar and breaking one. Then we're Estebradoing R&D, or are we keeping the Melandrin for the unresed ice on R&D?
Yeah, we don't use the Melandrum unless we really need.
Okay.
I guess we can use a counter from it. That's fine.
Should we? Yeah. Okay. Ship it. I think. See how it goes.
Like we're using the. Oh no, yeah, okay. This is fine. So we're going to use one of the counters here, right?
That's what I was originally suggesting, which I think is useful or worthwhile.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
And then I think our odds are good to steal out of HQ here.
That'd be nice. That would make it a lot easier.
Hey, and now we're
Easy.
at 4, which helps our Estebrados. So we can go R&D.
We're just.
Or do you want to go Archives first? Doesn't matter.
Well, we're going to lose the Melandrigum.
It's already used for the turn, though, right? Or can you use both abilities in the same turn?
You can use both abilities in the same turn.
Oh, fun. Okay, so do you want to run I guess, do you want to run R&D the first then?
Well, I want to run Archives first, because if that turns out to be a log jam, or like something with 3 subs...
Okay. I believe that.
Whereas with the Estebrado on R&D, we can like spend a click. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to go Archives first. It's just a normal Archives run.
And Donald, you are correct, and we did. It's a descent.
This is the second time we've boomeranged descent. Hate blind boomerangs. I just hate them.
Oh, they're lovely. Blind boomerangs are great.
And I guess we just bypass this because we're gonna lose it otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. And then Estebrado R&D. It's madness that you can do this. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I didn't play this well. I felt like that first deep dive was too soon.
Yep. We weren't even thinking about the relative threats. Watch me loose.
Oh, it's a slot machine, right? Deep dive is a slot machine.
15 cards left, and we know they're playing a lot of 3-pointers, I think. Or we suspect they're playing a lot of 3-pointers.
We can trash that, right?
We should trash it, right?
And we get...
Right.
Let's roll dice.
14 cards. You're going to see most of them.
Oh
no. Oh no. Oh dear. No. And now we have Probably not many decisions. Can we can't afford to get back into any server?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. We
I
can't afford
think
to play around anything.
we are done, right? Like, we boomerang HQ and we run HQ next turn.
I think that's it. Yes.
So, credit, draw cards. But we just died a measured response in any case.
I think so. We haven't actually seen one on either of our deep dives or anything, so there's a world in which it doesn't exist.
It's hilarious. So the point of playing this game was to show like how powerful Deep Dive Sable is and how much of a threat. So it's very funny to me that we just lost.
What's happening here? We're drawing for it. We are not threatening to kill. Okay. Can we get an HQ access this turn?
I mean, we can. Whether it makes any difference or not, I'm not sure. Look at that. There's only 7 in R&D.
Yep. What servers can we get access on? Just HQ, or we can also get archives, right?
We could. Yeah, we could get
HQ
archives.
is the mark. If we install backstitching and transfer HQ, we don't get in, right? Because we lose 3 on the first Afshar, and we're 2 short on the second.
Yeah, we take two credits and it's fine.
Yeah, but we won't have a click left to run archives, right?
It's okay. We can run archives next time.
Oh, we'd have a click left to run archives because it's our mark. So yeah, credit, install backstitching, transfer of off HQ, run archives, win the game.
Yeah. This always annoys me when I'm playing Wayland and the HQ ice ends up in the wrong order. It's so much more powerful when Winchester is on the inside.
Yeah.
To the point where I've thought about playing Mitra a man just to fix the ice placement for when you draw it in the wrong order. Because when you're playing Tucana, you can kind of like usually get it right. But when you're not playing Tucana,
you're
just completely beholden to the order that you draw the ice.
Here we go. Well, there weren't a lot of agendas in R&D, and they are padding HQ. And did we just chuck one into archives by doing that?
We might have done, yeah.
Well, we chucked a card, right? So we just run archives last click.
Yeah. There's no world where we get another HQ access, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're not on measured response at this point.
Yeah, I think they've seen enough cards from R&D that well played.
GG, nice. Hey, so we didn't lose. Well, actually, no. John is correct. I'm assuming that his well played means we just won the game, but
we did.
Hey, we did. GG. Deep Dive Sable busted as on display here.
All right, good. The conceit of the show
it milled
holds.
It off, yes.
It holds.
Very funny. Very funny. 3 agendas in hand. Yeah, okay. This is so. The point of that game was that I am of the opinion that there are no good corps. Corp is bad in the elevation meta, and runner is kind of busted. And how much would you agree with that sentiment, Kikai?
I wouldn't. But that's okay. I didn't want to get you on here so that you and I could argue.
No. But we wanted to play you wanted to put a bunch of corps before me and see if there's any that I gel with. Is that the idea?
Yeah. So this is the idea. I'm not as pessimistic about the corp side of the meta. And I wondered whether we could find you a corp deck, and I thought that would be a nice conceit for for a show.
I like that. My feeling at the moment is that I think there are no good corps, and that might come from basically there are 3 runner decks that I've tested against pretty extensively, right? Which is Deep Dive Sable, which I think is beatable, but very strong. There's Siphon Anarch, mostly Aseb, which I think is very, very strong, maybe beatable, but I don't think that there's a Corp deck that has good matchups into both of those. And then uh, then there's Reg Hosh, which is the 3rd deck that I've tested as and against. And my current win rate with Reg Hosh is somewhere around, it's like more than 90%. I can't find a Corp deck that I think can actually beat that, because fundamentally it prints too much money and just gets accesses and can play around every game plan. I've done testing against Shaper. I've heard there are lots of good Shaper decks. I would believe that there are people playing good Shaper decks, but I've not lost a game to Shaper in testing. But I don't think that's necessarily representative of Shaper's strength overall. Just like not being the strongest testing for that.
So what is it you're looking for though? Is it you're just looking for a Corp deck that has winnable like matchups across the whole runner meta, or is it more than that?
I would like a Corp deck that has winnable matchups across Dive Sable and Siphon Anarch. That's my starting point. I want to have winnable matchups in those 2 spaces. Donald says Shaper had the worst win rate across the event so far. I think that's true. There are like a lot of Americans who are very high on Anarch on Shaper at the moment, and I think that I like have total faith that by the time Mega Cities roll around, there'll be good, proven Shaper decks, even if there aren't right now. Jai says that claiming that there are no good corps is a wild take, which unfortunately it might be wild, but it's true. Because I don't think Nebula or AU, from what I've seen, stand up against all of those decks, but we shall see.
Let's get into that. So, a little bit of a format here. I've never seen The Bachelor. So as a premise for a show, it's probably like not the strongest. But I understand that there's like a rose giving ceremony and all of that stuff. So I threw together this date sheet that you'll probably hopefully can see on YouTube, but you probably can't see on the Discord stream. And I've put together just like an arrangement of these decks seem to be pretty good. They seem to be getting results. They seem to be doing well, and also a few wildcards in there as well. And this idea of let's take you on a date, let's take you on a first and maybe even second date with some of these decks. We can go through them on paper and you can talk us through like whether you think this deck would work for you or whether it doesn't. And then if there are any that you think maybe could be in the realm of possibility, maybe we take them for a spin.
I love that. That sounds great. Let's do that.
So the first one that comes to mind is Fast Advanced Nebula. I mean, I think this has been in every elevation tournament that we've seen. People have been playing Fast Advanced Nebula because I think out of the gate, right, it was a fairly obvious deck to build with the new elevation cards.
Yeah.
So up on screen, we've got the list that Soccer took to first place at the Reading CTK. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Fast Advanced Nebula?
I think that this deck is very good at losing games at 5 points. Every game of it I've played as or against, it's gotten to 5 points and then lost the game. And like it's threatening to win if it has the right stuff in hand, but for the most part, I don't think it's like Ice is robust enough, or that it's actually putting up enough threats to keep runners out, and I think like it can steal games, like especially if you've got 7 cards in hand and like I don't know and they C3 with the twinning or C3 with cups, and they miss all of the relevant cards, then you might win. But I think it will. Your best bets are it's going to come down to 50-50 situations. I've seen games against Shaper decks where the Shapers sit back and don't do anything, and it gets to 7 before the Shaper makes their first run. But like, I think that's the outlier, not the norm. That's my initial impression. I have slightly more interest in the version that's also playing touch up, measured response, kill, to force the runner to throw, or like is it touch ups end of the line? I can't remember.
So this is the one.
Both.
This is the one I found. I don't know that it's the only one, but this is one that Lifeline
Who we have a
shared.
lot of faith in to build some minging decks.
So I think this is pretty extreme. Like we saw at the first Sunrise CTK that was won by a Nebula that was playing an end of the line. But I don't remember the list exactly, but I think it was only the one end of the line. And I think Lifeline has kind of taken this a little bit further. But is this closer to the kind of thing that you'd be interested in playing?
I would be more interested in playing this one than the reg. It has to be said, but I'd play either of them. I'd take either for a spin.
All right, we'll give some roses to the 2 Nebula decks. That's what we'll do for our first date. There we go.
Does that mean that we're agreeing to go on a first date with them? Is that the way the format works?
I was thinking this is kind of the first date.
The first date is like we've just gone for coffee.
Yeah.
Right up. Yeah. Okay.
And then the second date we'll take it out on JNet, and then the third date would maybe take it to a CTK or something. I don't know.
Okay, sure. I agree with that.
Or maybe the third date is you take it to the pub. I'm not sure.
In which case, if that's the way this is going, let's take away the rose from Fast Advanced Nebula. I'm looking at the other things on this list. It may actually be the list on here that I have the least confidence in. So let's take away FA Nebula's rose.
Okay, but you're
But the murder one I'm more interested in.
I could see that. There's something about this murder on the dance floor list that does remind me of Iasmari.
Oh yeah, which Donald is laughing about in chat already. So, fantastic. Okay, what's up next?
All right, next up. So, Asset AU again. I think this is a deck that we're starting to see at every Elevation tournament. Not necessarily this specific deck. I'm sharing this one because I've been working on this list, and I think this is the list that I'm most comfortable with. So, if we were going to take this for a spin, this is the list that I would encourage you to go out with. I don't know that this is your cup of tea or not, but it's asset spammy. We're putting lots of assets on the board, and then we have threats that are both, in case the runner plays too passive, what we can do is we can punish them with the Reaper functions and with Foot and with Regenesis to get points out of archives. And then if they're too proactive, if they interact too much with our board, if they run out of money, we can measured response them. If they run out of cards, we can blood in the water them.
I think that this looks interesting. I think that I was gonna say there was a noise that came from somewhere.
That was JNet telling me that leave the game.
Oh, I see. But yeah, so I think that this is interesting. It's not really my style. It reminds me of like loud decks from the previous meta, which I didn't really rate. Or like I thought they were fun and cool and lost games to people who knew what they were doing. Like I played against it in tournament loads last season, and I don't think I ever dropped a game to it. And I think that in my experience playing against Asset AU, it seems pretty similar. But I also believe very well that this could overwhelm a lot of runners. I don't know that it's going to overwhelm Siphon Anarch, but it probably has a good dive matchup. So I would be interested in taking this one for a spin. I don't know if it's going to end up being my style. I'm like, not, but maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm interested. I think it's a real deck, so we should give it a look.
So I think you're absolutely right when you say the deep dive matchup isn't really of a concern. There's so much net damage in here. It makes hand management so very difficult for the runner. And I think you're also right that Siphon Anarch is a real concern. It is a difficult matchup. And you can see some of the choices here, like Samak Samun. These are specifically to help in that matchup. So...
worth noting, I've played Dive Sable against a dozen or so AU decks. I don't think I've played it against your one, but I've played it against asset decks out of AU. And I've been able to win every Dive Sable game. Because you have to respect the board and you have to do that stuff, but you do have enough 6 clicks on your turn or whatever to play respectful. But yeah, I can definitely see getting caught out by it. So but yeah, I think the Anarch matchup will be harder. But yeah, I'm keen to give it a go. I think you've made some. I've seen you iterating on it to try and improve those matchups, which is interesting. And also, I like Regenesis as a card, so let's do it.
Okay, we'll give it a rose. Next up is your deck, which
Hey.
I think this deck's really good. I think this Rushy PT Untuan deck it's a deck that I was really impressed with on day one of Elevation. I still think it's very good. I still think it's getting results. But I know that you've been working on it with Ashbow, and that you're maybe a little more skeptical on it than I am.
Yeah, my feeling is this deck is good and fun and probably slightly more fragile than Precision Design. Like, it lives in a very similar space. I think that I've been making changes to this kind of deck and I think that this deck was great to take to this first tournament. I think it did really well. I played almost exclusively against different forms of reg-ish Crim, all of which couldn't keep up. And I had a decent matchup into Dive Saber, which I think you could improve by playing cutting out things like Tattoo and Botto for things like Smaximum. So I think that there's definitely legs here, and it's also some of the most fun. Yeah, Jai, I know that you were playing Humanoid Resources over Idiosyncresis and standing by it. That deck got published by Eric from Neon Static, I think, and I would be interested in testing that variant as well. But yeah, I like this deck a lot. Of the Corp decks that I have played, this is the only one that feels real, but it also feels like it doesn't have a good Dive Sable matchup or Siphon Anarch matchup yet. You might be able to get there, but it will require a lot of work. And I don't know if you can have good matchups to both at the same time. You might be able to get either one of those matchups fine, but probably not both.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And it's Crew, isn't it, that's the real threat out of the Siphon Anarch one.
Yeah. I just want to have big ice, and I want them to have to respect it. But
okay, so
but I like this deck a lot.
I don't quite know what to do with this then, because it sounds like it's not a case of, okay, I'm going to go out and play this deck, but it's like you want to keep working on it to see if you can find a way to address those problem matchups.
Yeah, I think you could probably stick 3 roses on this, and we don't have to play it today. Because I know where I'm at with it. But yeah, I think if somebody else was asking me for advice of what to play, I would point them in this direction right now.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
So
next up, this is one Jai is quite excited to hear about. I don't know. I think Jai, you might be a little disappointed because this is a poetry deck that I cooked up. Pretty much, it's a deck that I cooked up on day one with a few tweaks, but it's not Asa. Like, this is looking at poetry through the lens of the fully op sports metal list that I think Tuno first played at the first Nottingham Regional, and that Dullbulb played at the Reading district. I think, to me, when I look at poetry, that's what poetry wants to do. It doesn't really want to be ASA. It wants to be sports metal. 14 agendas because the ID ability tells you to put agendas in your deck.
Well, this is my fundamental issue with poetry, right? Is that your ID ability says put agendas in here so that you get triggers, and your ID ability also says don't put agendas in here because you need to be able to trigger for non-agenda installables, right?
Right.
Right. And every time I've played Azure against poetry, there has been one or more whiffed triggers where it's there's no installable, and at that point,
interesting.
Why are you playing the ID?
So I've not found that. You can manage you should manage your HQ, right? You should manage your hand, and I don't think I've. Oh no, I might have whiffed on the R&D trigger once, actually, thinking about it. But what I have found is it does really compress the amount of operations you can play. You really can't play many operations at all, and that in turn means that you can't really play humanoid resources.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you're skeptical about this. This isn't you just don't think it comes together in a compelling enough way.
Yeah, of the decks on the list on paper, it's the one I'm the least interested in. So whilst I will play you on it in the pub tomorrow, and I might change my mind until I've seen somebody else do well with it, I'm not going to pick it up.
No, that makes sense. I mean, if you look at HB win rates recently at all the major tournaments, they are
literally atrocious.
They are. HB is not very happy, so yeah.
Do we have the surveyor stats from? We don't have the Polish ones yet because
not yet.
Finished.
Not yet. This week, hopefully, maybe. So
because we were looking at like sub 40% on a lot of those.
But we have a few stats from Bristol, not a district regionals. This is one of the decks. This is Motion Blur's deck that came out of Bristol, I believe.
What on earth is this?
So this is a BTL deck. It's been doing very well. It's measured response. It's measured response BTL.
It's measured response BTL. Well, those two things make sense to me. Together, I had the same thought when rotation happened. Okay, BTL will be good. It doesn't lose very much. Then you put the deck together and you try and play it, and you realize that actually it did lose quite a lot. What it lost was Biovolt, and that was enough of and that and border control and everything like that is enough to make you not be able to play the old deck anymore. And then I've seen a lot of measured response in Wayland just winning games, but also providing enough of a thing that you've got to respect is kind of interesting. So I believe that there's a Wayland measured response tempo deck, and I could believe that it is in BTL. I don't believe it runs 2 copies of Jibstad Grid.
I guess the Jibstad Grid is there. You've got green mail. So it's pretty easy.
Have green mail.
So it's pretty easy to get your Jibstad fires, and they're going to make it awkward. Like Jibstad is going to make it awkward for the runner to survive the measured response.
Maybe that's true. Maybe can a runner afford to get into a remote server and trash a Jibstad in this day and age? Maybe not.
Well, there's a lot of Azamat going around. Deep Dive Sable, no. Deep Dive Sable is never going to be trashing this Jibstad, and maybe the Jibstad is knocking Deep Dive out of hand. Certainly, it's making your hand management problems much more difficult.
We are only running 14 pieces of ice. I guess it's a 44 card deck.
We're also running Tucana, so
yeah,
that seems like a pretty decent number of ice to me.
knowing what deck is next on the list, can we look at that one before we make a conclusion about measured BTL?
So next up is a fast advance Zwicky. Zwicky has also been getting good numbers against in various tournaments, like much better numbers than I expected Zwicky to be getting. Now, how much of that is down to measured response and how much of that is just down to out-tempoing the runner, I really don't know. But Cursor and EA Sports started cooking up a fast advanced wiki list that I thought had some very compelling things in it. This isn't quite it. This is I started with that list and then I took some of the ideas from that list and worked on it. Notably, there's no measured response in this list, so we are pretty all in on scoring plan.
Cursor does have MRs in their version of the list.
Yeah. But this is just pure fast advance. This is, I'm going to build a remote, I'm going to put a Plutus in it. I'm going to put an Antil in it first, probably, and then I'm going to put Plutus in it afterwards. And then we're just going to fast advance agendas using Plutus Petty Cache, using Nano Management, using Slash and Burn.
So, I guess we just had a game as Deep Dive Sable against quite a similar list out of Newham, right? Which I guess wasn't on the fast advance plan, so maybe it wasn't a similar list.
Yeah, this is much faster than that Newham list is.
I'm intrigued by this. I'd say I'm more intrigued by this than I think I am in the nonsense that the BTL deck was doing. I think that, having seen, for context for people watching, I've not played like any JNet randoms since the set came out. I've only played against the team. So, and nobody in the team has been playing Plutus until this week. And having seen it played, it looks kind of good. People should have been high on that card. I'm kind of curious about this one. I think this looks like it's got some legs.
Yeah, it feels to me not dissimilar from the fast advance ob that we were playing in district season. You do miss the ob trigger, like not being able to ASF to go and get your spin doctor. You kind of miss that. But apart from that, that's the only thing I really miss from the ob list, having played a handful of games with this.
Having played against Cursor's one yesterday, the line that struck me as maybe compensating for that, maybe making up for that a little bit, was that there were turns before we had Plutus or after Plutus got trashed for the first time where we were able to just put a spin doctor in the remote server and then use that window to slash safely. And then so I think that it might actually be a deck that can actually play Slash and Burn, which is cool. So yeah, let's give this one a rose off the bat. I like the look of this. Okay.
Quick question.
Donald says,
we're both there.
Okay, cool. Donald says, try not to leak just in case. Has Kami abandoned the Corp deck he was jamming at the Norwich launch event? That feels like it was doing similar things to the BTL. I have no idea what Kami was playing. I don't think that he's testing anything out of Wayland, Donald, so feel free to leak. I don't think it's a deck we're holding close to our hearts at the moment.
We're usually pretty open in EA Sports.
Yeah.
Right? Like
we've only ever, to my knowledge, kept a deck secret once. Which was when we first started playing Yasmari. We kept that under wraps for the first little while.
I had mixed feelings about us keeping it secret. Like I see, there's kind of something a little bit negative about secret deck lists, but actually, I think on the whole, I hope that it added some drama to Continentals last year.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was very exciting. Kami was playing a Jupstad AUCO. Yeah, he has abandoned that, I think. That's a very Tom thing to do, is just stick Jupstads into some other kill line. I think he gave up on that. But if you reach out to him, he might have more secret thoughts. But I think he's shopping around for decks at the moment. I also don't think he's found a Corp that he's particularly happy with. So yeah, okay.
So-
Let's put Zwicky on the give Zwicky a rose and leave measured response BTL
Cool.
with the Gyps turn grids. I think you could play measured response Wayland. I think this Zwicky might end up bringing back in measured response at some point.
Yeah, I think you could. I was thinking about this. I think you could cut the Makota and you could cut an ice and...
Yeah, those Lamplighters look slightly sus to me.
Oh no, they've been very, very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been very, very good. I would cut one of the Descents.
Okay.
And then you could put your measured responses in that way, and I think that would be fine.
Nice. Okay, cool. Let's
Finally,
spin.
I've got one more on the dance card.
Oh wow, okay.
One more. It's a wild
This
card.
the question mark surprise.
This is the surprise mystery list. This is the list that Davs is playing today, yesterday, and today. So this is.
Do we have a talk? Do we have a report on where they are? Let me check in. So round 4. David is now playing against Oko.
Oh no! You hate to see
Round
it.
5 which is quite funny. And yeah, so they're both. I think they're now both in the top 3. So one of them
Okay.
guaranteed top 2. And yeah, that's this Tagstorm Epiphany.
So yeah, I don't know. I said this list. I don't even know that this is the exact list that Davs is playing this weekend because this was posted in Discord, I think, earlier in the week. I don't know. I don't know anything about this list. It's NBN assets. It's playing IP enforcement, which Davs has reportedly Davs used today to win a game. So
Yep.
hype.
He IP enforcement onto a 5-3 onto the Hollow Man and was able to score it on the same turn, from my understanding. But yes, so right, what about my thoughts? I've been testing this list with Davs in the last week, so I've played against this and I've played as it a few times. So I have some intelligent thoughts on it. My feeling is that the deck lives and dies by its opening hand. In basically every game where you're able to jam 3 assets onto the table on turn 1, you then have plays for the rest of the game. In every turn where you don't have 3 things you can jam on the opening turn, you lose too much tempo and you cannot get out from under the runner. That was my feeling, having played a little bit of it. Which isn't surprising, I don't think. It does a lot of fun stuff. By fun, I mean like gross. And I think 3 IP enforcement might be over the top. But broadly, I think there's a real deck here. I think it has a good deep dive Sable matchup. I think it probably has a suspect Siphon Anarch matchup.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with this. Although maybe you can do something there. I don't know. But yeah, so I think this is a real deck. Maybe I'd be interested in looking at this a bit longer. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced by it.
Do you want to add it to the dance card?
We can give it its first rose, and we can see if it survives its Jaina outing.
All right. So on the dance card,
Okay.
we've got Asset AU, we've got Rush PT, which we're not going to play today. We've got the FA's Wiki, End of the Line Nebula, and Tagstorm Epiphany.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think probably the best thing to do is we might need to take a little bit of a technical break while we get the stream sorted out, and maybe if you play stream on Discord and I'll stream from Discord.
So you want me to pilot?
Or do you want me to pilot? We can do it that way around.
We just do it. You pilot, and then I'll tell you what plays to do, and we play them collaboratively. I'd be interested in starting with the Asset AU because I know you've got a lot of reps there.
Okay, we'll go and we will find a game, and I will chaperone.
I figure the best thing to do for this deck, where you know what to do, is ask me what I think to do, but ultimately we can make. We'll lean towards your decision making a bit more, and see how we go. It's funny that we're just going to have tiebreakers queue up against us and play the strongest possible runners to make my point proven, I think, but I might be wrong there. Yep, we've got Jai off the bat. Is Jai playing Dewey or is Jai playing Siphon Anarch? Let's find out. Right. Let's go. We're playing Deep Dive Sable. Okay. Immediate impressions about this opening hand?
Okay, so where are we? Measured response, we don't want to... It's a great card, we don't want to see it yet. Bladderwort, great card. Reaper Function, we're happy to see. Moonpool...
You can put those 3 assets on the table and be fine with it.
Like, you can... Yeah, you can almost duck Siphon. But, like,
yeah,
if the Bladderwort gets trashed, I think you're in real trouble with this hand.
Okay, so are we mulliganing?
I would be tempted to mulligan for something better.
Let's do it.
Like, this is playable, but we can probably do better.
This looks good. My guess is that our opening players Petty Cash, Bladderwort, and Hostile.
So immediately off the bat, we're gonna get deep into this. I don't like playing Petty Cash. Like, to me, playing Petty Cash is as bad as clicking for a credit. Sure. You really want to hit Petty Cash with your Anemone reses or with your cohort guidance programs. And I would I would rather hold it in hand for that than spend the click to play it.
So are you going to click for a credit and install those 2 cards? Because then we've got great Siphon Duck and good plays on turn.
I think so. Like, let's see what we mandatory. Cool. But yeah, I think that's what I would do, I think.
Okay, I believe that. Play it. All right. What are the odds you think this is Deep Dive Sable?
100%.
Until otherwise proven.
Yeah. I think just assume Deep Dive Sable, exactly as you say, until you have a reason not to.
I was wondering about whether or not we could cook Reg Sable. We res them both here?
I would res the Hostile here, yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't have to res the Bladderwort, yeah. Interesting. What would I do as Sable here? Depends very much what I've got in hand, I guess.
Right.
But I would probably not trash anything and get ready to trash both of these next turn. But I guess we'll put 3 more assets out,
So this is already the hand management problems are starting to... Like, from turn 1, we have a hand management problem. Like, we actually don't want Deep Dive in our opening hand. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to trash this straight off the bat, which makes sense.
But we're still going to... And we're drawing up.
What
did we lose?
A pinhole and a second but higher. Oh, no, pinhole and a Carpe Diem. I think you're absolutely fine with losing those 2 cards.
Is this Bladderwort?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then...
By the way, Bladderwort, my least favourite card in Netrunner.
I hear you.
I assume we fire this? Boomerang?
Hitting just the boomerang. Yeah, I think this is great. Getting the AU trigger turn 1. Yep. Fantastic.
Tithe is good. I don't think we care about an enemy. I don't know about Regenesis yet. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, Tithe is... We definitely want Tithe. We kind of want both Anemone and Regenesis. We just don't want them quite yet.
Yep.
So...
What's more important, keeping the agendas out of archives against Sable and might just randomly check it?
There's only 2 Anemone in the deck, and Anemone is quite important for defending against Deep Dive.
So, yep.
I think the safer thing to do is probably to keep the Anemone and
chuck the Tithe,
and chuck the Regenesis.
Okay, I'm happy with that. We've got the Spin Doctor in hand. Yeah, we can just do that safely. And a Fuji.
It's typical, right? Ideally, this would have been the other way around, but it's what it is.
Where are you? So we install the Spin Doctor.
Hmm.
We install something else.
Yeah, we definitely want to get this tithe on the board.
R&D or HQ?
I think maybe Bladderwort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you look
Just
at
to
this,
get
we're on
the
1
trees
credit,
further.
and
Yeah.
if Sable trashes the Bladderwort next turn, we are in real trouble.
I think you're right. Stick that tithe over there. And then do you click for a credit or do you chuck out a card? Or do you stick on the table just to build up board presence?
I don't love clicking for a credit in case we get transferred, so
True.
Sticking a card on the table. And
Yep.
I don't think you have any wrong options here, to be honest.
No.
Any of these 4 cards is fine.
I would probably stick out the moon pool, but I don't know.
Okay. Like, the Anemone might have kept Sable away from a central because we are threatening a tithe res, but I don't think it. It probably.
Oh, bloody what's so minging? Why? Oh, fine. At least we get the tithe res. Fully break. Now.
So it looks pretty bad for us because we're on 0 credits, but worth remembering that the runner is also only on 2 credits, and there's 2 Carpe Diem in the bin.
Yep. So we have some room to maneuver. Do we want to... Is like drawing a Bladderwort or a cohort sufficiently good to res the Spin Doctor?
Yeah, I think it is, personally.
I think that makes sense.
And part of that...
redacted by Donald. Okay, well, those are 2 cards. I guess we're clicking for 2 credit or 3 credits. And
there is a bit of a problem with clicking for credits, right? I guess we can click for 3 and res the moon pool if the transfer comes in.
Yeah, you're chucking 2 things out at that point, but yeah, maybe that's just best.
We can chuck the petty cash out.
Yeah. And the Fuji?
Yeah.
Yep, so. Okay.
And then next turn we'll be able to Hanso.
Yeah.
It's a shame, like we would have liked to be able to Hanso the petty cash, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Drawing for that siphon. We did get the HQ mark as well. We got the 3rd Carpe Diem. Enemy, fine. Now. Are you going to Hansei the Hansei, or are you going to Hansei something else?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Of the cards in our hand currently, I would Hansei the Hansei.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Money is awkward against Sable, and more money is more good, but trashing cards from hand... I don't know, it's a way to get our AU trigger back.
Oh, Donald makes a good point. Bahia bans means no deep dive, and also Nuka means no deep dive.
Oh, this is true.
Or at least not 3 deep dive.
This is very, very true. Just spin back the agendas?
I think so.
Like, if we had Foot on the board, then...
You might do something.
You might feed them the Fuji?
So yeah, I think Jai is doing the sensible thing, which is looking at everybody's reg Mushlia decks and deciding...
Just moving into Sable.
We can do better.
Cool.
Right. Ooh, we have some plays here. Do we play the pay cash, play the hand size, stick the Butterwort, and stick something else?
Yeah. So the Bladderwort isn't going to get us any.
Doesn't do much anything.
Doesn't get us any net damage. Like I'd be tempted to Hansei the Bladderwort.
Yeah.
And then Hansei something else, and then put an Anemone on HQ. I don't know. Or put
that.
Or put the Reaper function out.
If
we'll
you put...
pick catch. Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Go on.
No, you're good. Hansei the Bladderwort. Do we just stick the enemy and the Reaper function? An enemy on HQ, Reaper function on the table?
If we can hand say this turn, we'll get an AU code trigger next turn to refill our hand.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to Hansei any of these 3 cards, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just put the Genesis in the bin with the Moonpool doing protective work. Maybe we just trust the Reaper function. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know it either or. Like, I don't know that either is right or wrong.
Okay. What would you do?
I would probably Hansai the Regenesis on the basis that if they run HQ, they're just going to steal it anyway.
Yep, I like that.
And then
are you an enemy R&D or HQ?
I think it's HQ, right?
For siphony reasons, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I like that. So, Jonald, has Jai given up on playing Baz? Have you all had a collective moment of breaking with the insanity that clearly permeated tiebreakers for a little while? Or is there a secret Baz list that we're not allowed to know about?
Stole a blood in the water out of R&D. This is the one agenda we don't want the runner to steal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, blood in the water is the most. The reason we play 3 of them is because we still want to be able to win if the runner steals one.
Okay.
And the concern is if you only play 2 blood in the water, my concern is you can't actually win if they steal one.
Hermes comes down afterwards, which is kind of funny.
So we do get our AU code trigger.
Well, we want the cohort. Powers doesn't do anything without other stuff, so I guess you truck the powers. That's tough, though.
Yeah, it really is tough, but I think that's correct.
Yep. And then we draw 1 more card, right? That seems good. Fat behind the tithe, cohort on the table, Reaper on the table.
That means we then have to cohort the blood.
Oh, I see.
So if we're going to get cohort on the table, which I think we probably should, we should probably also draw a card.
Okay. I like that. That seems good.
So we cohort and spin.
Yeah.
I don't think we're quite ready to get the foot on the table yet because there's this revolver out.
Okay.
But we could cohort behind tithe and stick the spin out wide.
Seems great. I like that.
And then the spin will draw and we'll get more options for our cohort.
Yep. Methis says, Baz to me isn't bad, it's just hard to trigger the ID consistently. I think if your ID is hard to trigger consistently, your ID is bad. And Donald says, I'm 99% sure no one is interested in Baz after day 1. Interesting. I think Axu is still a Baz believer. But maybe it's just Axu. No, that can't be true, John, because because on Bard's stream, which was at least a week after set release, Augustus was saying that Baz was better than Liza Talking Thunder or Sable or 419, so...
what do you want to... Jai's running Archives because it's the mark. What do you want to spin back?
What have we got in there?
We got Regenesis.
Regenesis. We do spin back the Regenesis and probably the Hostile.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
How do we feel about... What's the front company? How much work does it do?
Questionable. I think the front company is 49th card.
Okay.
In this situation, it doesn't really help us because R&D isn't iced. And we don't really want them to run R&D, so...
Maybe we get some ice. Right, so the resin cohort.
A resin cohort. Yeah, but the question is, what do we trash? And if your inclination is to...
Fat or front?
Foot is, like, the most important card in the deck.
Okay.
So yeah, chuck out the front company, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Hey, that seems good.
Oh, it does. That does seem real good.
What's your order of operations here, though? Because you want a card in hand at the end of this to play. I guess we'll have a Yuko trigger, right? No, not necessarily.
We will, because we'll res and fire the Reaper function if it survives.
Okay.
And if it doesn't,
So
if it gets
is it-
trashed, we'll have a hostile. So
Okay.
yeah, you're
So
right. We will.
hostile fat Reaper.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
Wicked. And do we want to res the fat?
Oh, sorry, I skipped. I just assumed not. We
No,
could.
I don't know.
We
If the received was so is your base normal play pattern. Don't start showing it until it's threatening to do something.
yeah, and here there aren't any agenda. There's only one agenda in play that we know about.
Sure.
So if there were agendas in archives or on the board, then you could make an argument for pre-resing it. But here, we don't know what they're going to hit on R&D. So we can keep some information secret.
I've always said good things about Jai, and this Sable list makes me feel good about that. What a fun way to play Netrunner. Wholesome Sable. So how stacked of full of agendas is R&D right now? Like
Not
birth full to the rafters? How many agendas are in the
no,
list?
there aren't that many agendas in the list.
How many total have you got?
3 Fuji, 3 Blood in the Water, 3 Sting, 2 Regenesis.
Okay, 11. So there's 9 in 30. So that's quite a lot.
It's
What were the
fine. A lot of them though,
twins?
like Fuji, you don't really mind them stealing Fuji. You don't mind them stealing Sting.
I think Jai has a twinning in hand, so finding this root function might actually be really good for us.
We're incentivized to do it for the AU co.
Yeah. So
The Reaper function,
What did we hit?
open market class act.
Fine.
Then we can do the AUCO.
Yep. Which one do you prefer, Atini or Samaxamon?
Smaxman is really for the Siphon Anarch matchup. It doesn't block Kurapira, it only blocks Boomerang.
Okay.
Whereas Atini is just very good, I think, in this matchup. It probably gets bypassed.
Cool. And then, what are you cohorting? Is it the third fat, or is it the Spin Doctor?
Well, I'm wondering actually. Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably the spin, isn't it?
Interesting.
2 spins have already been used. We'd have to, and 1 powers is in the bin. Okay, we probably need the spin, which probably means it's one of the foot.
You could chuck a Blood in the Water and hope that you're going to moonpool it away, but
I wouldn't do that. They're too important to have in hand.
that makes sense.
They're usually the thing that you're scoring with moonpool.
Yeah.
So I think it's the foot.
That's fine. So we put the Atini on R&D.
Yep.
And put the Reap function on the table. And then do we put Blood in the Water or the Spin? Probably the Spin.
But spin, yeah, we just hold the blood in the water in hand.
Okay.
This
we
is
have
the
face downs for cohort, right? So, but we don't have anything we'd want to advance.
correct, yeah. We can res the spin to get more targets for cohort, and we'll res the Reaper function. We'll get our AUCO trigger.
I didn't quite appreciate how few agendas you were on.
Mhm.
I think I've seen a lot of versions that play a lot of agendas.
I think
Nothing,
some decks want to play, because you want to play hybrid release and you want to play Regenesis, and I think some decks they cut a blood in the water to play so they can play both. which increases the number of agendas you've got, reduces the number of Blood of the Waters you've got. I don't like that. I think that's wrong. I think there is a tough decision to be made between Regenesis and Hybrid Release. I don't know that there's a right answer, but I feel like trying to play both is the wrong answer.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
I understand that. I think that makes sense. What are we gonna do? We're gonna res spin doctor, res reaper function. We're gonna have plays. God, R&D's getting so thin.
So
this is the one thing that scares me the most about the deck, is just using Moonpool to fast advance something and shuffling 2 agendas into a res here.
Yeah, so Jai's keeping us very honest by running archives every turn. So one of the things that we might be looking to do here is to put a Fuji in the bin, and then I guess there was 6 in hand, and then try to Moonpool out a Regenesis. It doesn't look like that's something that's going to happen for us here.
So we res the spin before start turn, so we have something.
Well, we've got our 2 Yuko triggers counters here, so I wonder whether we do res the spin.
Up to you.
We'll go up to 5. That'll take us up to 7. I think we'll have too many cards in hand if we res the spin.
Okay.
I think. Because that's going to draw us 2. Cohort's going to draw us net.
We'd end up on 8, rather, which is enough to spam 3 cards out.
Okay, then we do res the spin, right?
Yeah.
And then a Yuko.
In the cohort or the Fuji?
I think Jai's
put. You want to put the Fuji on the table, right?
I agree. I think Jai's put us in a position where we have to put the Fuji on the table, which is fine.
You can chuck out the Tithe, but I think you probably chuck out the cohort, right?
Yeah, I think I agree.
Cool. Oh, and then we're probably just gonna chuck the Bladderwort, or maybe the Tithe here.
Yeah, I think we could run out of money, and then the Bladderwort will be pretty important.
Yeah. Up to you.
But if we put the Tithe on archives, I think Jai will run archives. But we could put the Anemone on archives in that case.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay, so we'll trash the Tithe.
Yep.
That's a nice card to draw.
Yeah. So stick the Fuji on the table. We stick the Anemone on archives. We stick the other Moonpool on the table? Or do we want the Bladderwort for potential damage?
I think we stick the Bladderwort there. I think that's more valuable to us than the Moonpool.
Do it.
Okay, so it looks like here that we're going for a Regenesis play, which we're obviously not. It's possible the second cohort might have been better here because we can use both cohorts to score the Fuji.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to matter because I'm pretty sure Jai's going to run archives.
Stalls Nuka.
Mitha asks, why Bladderwort and not Foot? There is already 1 foot on the board. Having a second foot on the board could be useful. But I think we're approaching a point where we are suddenly going to run out of cash and we're going to be very grateful to have a Bladderwort on the board. Like, I think, because we're forcing the issue. So I think
there's a lot of money that we're about to spend.
Like, if we res this Atini, we're going to be so grateful that that Bladderwort's on the board.
There are only 17 cards in R&D. I feel like we are just going to lose. Joe's going to make 2 runs and we're going to lose the game.
It's okay. We just hold our nerve. But it is good to be cognizant of how many cards are in R&D because we're probably reaching that point where we can't fire a Yuko anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So we're 7 and we're trusting the hostile.
This is the one remote server that we would have liked to have put ice on.
Yeah.
But this is not a problem because this is their last click.
We don't have a scoring line and we don't have a kill line, right? Oh no, we could score.
We can score.
Do you want to score?
Yeah, I think we should
Get to 3 points and deal 3 damage?
get 3 points, deal 3 damage. I mean, the problem is we'll be shuffling agendas back into R&D, which isn't where we want them. But it might be that we can draw agendas with a Yuko.
Yeah, I think go for it.
So we res the bladder wart just to get money.
So. Yeah.
And then we hit a Yuko.
Yeah, are we so we're gonna hit this.
Oh, that's a good card.
Powers.
Yeah.
We can't install this turn, can we? I guess we can.
Yeah, we can.
Spent both moon pools.
Yeah, we can.
So are you chucking Fuji in the bin?
Yeah, we're chucking Fuji in the bin for sure, because we're just going to moonpool it back.
Yep. Then you're going to cohort
the blood.
No,
blood in the water, because we're just going to shuffle it.
Are we not turning a card face up with cohort?
Oh yeah, of course we are. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Or turn the cohort up, or the tithe.
Is it the Fuji we turn up? I never remember how this works.
No, because you can't moonpool a face up card.
So we just do the tithe.
Yep. Okay, well that's one of the ones we're throwing back, I guess. So is it install moonpool, install powers that be, score the Fuji? That only does 3 damage, so we wouldn't have a blood in the water install line. So maybe we don't need the. I guess we could just install the powers for fun.
Yeah, we install the powers to get back maybe a hostile or a Reaper.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
So
res moonpool, install.
Install powers, right?
Yep.
Which we also res. And then it's moonpool advance, right?
What happens if? Oh, okay. What happens if you install the second moonpool?
We get a click, but I don't know what we do with that click.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a way of scoring a blood in the water. So yeah. You could ice the fart. But yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, we can powers to do that if we want to. That might be the right thing to do. Okay, so we moonpool. We're just trashing the sting.
Yep.
Shuffle those 2 back. Advance. We're down to 5 credits, which is worth saying.
Yep.
And do 2 net. We'll do 1 net.
Hit open market, transfer wealth, hit Chesva.
And then hostile is a difficult res, but it also will mean Bladderwort will start firing.
Yep. Do you rather have the 5 credit hostile or the 3 credits maximum, I guess? I think the maximum on fat seems good.
I think if we're forced to res that and then they trash the Bladderwort, we might be in real trouble.
Do we not recover with cohort quickly enough?
Oh, we might do. But they can just get in and trash the cohort.
True. Up to you. You've also got the maximum from hand that we're about to discard anyway, so maybe you could do that and then it's an unknown ice.
I'll do it from hand and do it on the fat.
Yeah, and then it's an unknown ice.
Okay. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Oh, there's Hermes.
There is Hermes, yeah. It doesn't matter. Because whatever we do just gets bounced anyway.
Yeah. Unless the central ice gets bounced, but no. Yeah.
Okay, so just discard it?
Yep.
Hilarious. Okay, we're going to lose our board. That's sad.
Maybe the hostile would have got bounced as well, right? There's no res window.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe this Fuji score was a little hasty.
Yeah.
Like, we would have preferred to score a sting, I think.
There are only 18 cards left for the run to play with, but I guess there are only 20 cards left for us to play with. And we draw faster than them.
Yeah, the Nuka has really helped Sable here, because otherwise it's very difficult for the runner to trash the board and draw cards. But Sable makes that a lot easier.
So yeah, are we done firing at AU for the rest of the game?
It's uncomfortable, but we might have to fire it one more time, because because we need to do something.
We need to make a play.
We need to make a play. The play is probably Fuji in the bin, Regenesis on the table, measured response.
Yep. So yeah, just draw a Regenesis and hope that the rest flows quickly, pretty evenly from there. Yeah, looks like he's going for our money.
I don't think we mind this particularly. It's very difficult for us to cohort from here.
Yeah.
And this makes the AU co decision easier. Presumably Bladwell also gets trashed here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so the runner is down to 8 credits.
Which is an important number.
I think I feel like we have to AU co here
good.
because things are getting awkward.
Okay. I don't think those Makoto Nagits are doing much for us.
If we can get the foot on one, or you can get the moon pool on one and use it to res the moon pool. And we can get Jai's credits down low enough that we can just measured response to win.
Seems good.
Tithe might also be good because
we're
running out of revolver counters.
Yep.
Okay, I think we keep the Makotas because they're almost money.
Okay, nice.
Because they're almost money, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, what's your thoughts here?
Well, we get a Reaper on a Makota.
Sure.
And then maybe we click for a credit so we can Resatini.
Sure.
So, like, if we stick this Reaper and Makota behind this Tithe.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then we're going to have to discard a card.
We can check the second Makota, it's fine, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Cool, blimey. So there are do you say we're on 9 agendas?
11.
11 agendas. Okay, and we know where 4 of them are, so there's 7 in R&D.
Yeah, that sounds right.
7 agendas in the 11 cards in R&D. So Jai has thrown out a twinning. Can we look at Jai's influence spend so far? 1 twinning, 2 nukers, 1 Bahia. Is that what we've seen? Yeah.
I assume
7,
we've
8.
imported a decoder. That's what I would do.
So that would put us to 10. And then 2 more nukers puts us up to... So we think that that's the only twinning?
Could be.
Could be 3 nuker, 2 twinning, some Bahias. That could be the whole spend.
I think 3 nuker makes a lot of sense. I'd be very surprised if we haven't imported Unity.
Jai calling out Mitraman, obviously the most oppressive card on the runner's mental load that's ever been printed, according to some sources.
I mean, it does play really pretty well with Tithe, pretty well with Anemone.
Yeah.
Like I've tested it.
And it got cut.
Didn't do anything. Like, again, there's in the Siphon Anarch matchup where you want the Samaximon behind a Tithe, so the position of your ice is quite important. It's quite appealing to play Mitro Man so that you can fix your ice positioning in the late game if needs be, but in practical terms, it never did anything.
Mithra plays Mitra in Ob. Surprisingly good. Is it a 0 cost card?
Yeah.
I've not seen a single Ob deck that I'm impressed by either. That's the other issue. Mithra, can you send me your Ob list so I can review it on Tuesday? Right, do Resatini here. Go to 0 and deal 3? Surely not. We click for a credit to be able to threaten it though. Oh, we're at threat 3, right? So it would be a guaranteed 3 damage. But we wouldn't have any kill lines off it, and he's got 2 clicks spare. But also there's a million agendas in there.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we are resing it.
You go for it.
Because, like, otherwise, like, we just lose off R&D, right?
Yes.
And as you say, it really forces the runners, the remainder of the runners' turn. There's an Echelon. This is probably a Fuji Steel, maybe? It's a Sting Steel. It's pretty good.
Does not get us to measure response, but I guess there's not much we can do off of this here, right? It's just at 1 damage. We're not going to be able to res Reaper function. Jai can just draw cards and click for credits. And we're not threatening anything. Have I missed something?
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of Jai's turn here is draw cards.
Mithra, if you've got a deck that wrecks Siphon Anarch, then I would definitely take a look at it. Regardless of anything else. So do we have a play beyond click for 3?
No, I don't think so. Because, like, the Petty Cash doesn't... I forgot about the Hermes bounce. The Petty Cash doesn't do anything for us until we get to 3 credits.
Yeah, for everybody in chat who's watching, I'm doing on Tuesday lunchtime, I think, a stream where I'm going to review some Corp deck lists that more people have sent to me. I won't be taking any of them out on a date necessarily, but I'll be discussing them. So if you have a Corp list that you think I might like, please do send it to me on Discord or wherever. Okay, we'll do jam that.
We need to be at 3 credits, I think.
Okay, so let's click for 3.
And I don't know that we can use the cohort anyway.
Throw it and the anemone out or the moon pool?
I think it is the anemone. Like, it's difficult to see a world where we can res any ice other than the ice that's on the board.
Yep. I feel like if I were Jai, I'd be running HQ this turn. Maybe I'd just be looking for credits and drawing cards.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Would you fire the Reaper function this turn, or are you going to try and put more stuff on the table? Or are you going to try and save it for a measured response kill? Gosh. What would you shuffle back? Hansei's Bladderwarts?
Hansei's, it's difficult to see us getting to the point where we can play the Hansei's. I like shuffling the Bladderwarts back.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good.
Okay, I believe it.
And we still got one in our archives.
Playing Grinder with 11 cards left in our deck feels suspicious.
Well, what it's going to do is it's going to force them to trash in a way that means we can land this measured response.
Yeah.
Ideally.
We're still not a threat for though.
No, we're not. I think we are going to have to feed them a Fuji, which is uncomfortable.
Oh.
I don't think you're going to like this turn, but I think we're going to have. I think we're going to have to fire a Yuko again.
Whoa. Okay.
We need to put Fuji in the bin.
What the hell?
We need to put Fuji in the bin. We need to put Moonpool on the table, or we need to put Petty Cash in the bin so we can play Petty Cash. Like there are 2 Petty Cashes in R&D. There are 2 Fujis in there. I think we're firing a Yuko to put one of these in the bin.
Okay, send it.
Jai's gonna lose
I
it.
think he's gonna comment on your AU fire. Well, you got one of them.
So I think we're putting the Fuji in the bin.
Yep.
And then we might put Foot on the table.
I think that's correct. And then click for credit.
Click for 2 credits.
Yep. I guess it depends what else we draw. I guess you play the Petty Cash rather than looking for 2 credits.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Click 1. Click 2, install Foot. And then you want to install a card, I guess. Or do you want to click for a credit?
I think we want to click for a credit to get this Regenesis scored next turn.
Can you fast advance the Moonpool? Or Regenesis of the Moonpool next turn?
You can, right? You can Moonpool, Regenesis,
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
advance. If they run HQ, if they transfer HQ, yeah. If they transfer HQ, we're in trouble. There's a world where we put the Moonpool on the table, but then they might just go and trash it, which would be, which actually might not be the worst for us.
Up to you.
We'll take the credit. If in doubt, just take the credit. Otherwise, you just end up 1 credit short of winning. And we're gonna have to res this Foot actually, so that credit's probably important.
So we've got 6 in play, 7 in play, so 4 in 7 on R&D. But I guess we don't think Jai's ever running R&D again.
This is so. What's going to happen, right? Jai runs the Foot first, which makes a lot of sense.
Fine. It's 3 to trash, 2 to trash.
I think it's 3 to trash.
Yep.
This is correct. Then I think Jai has to run. I think the right thing for Jai to do here is to run HQ, but running Archives is understandable.
Do we have a run event in there? No, I guess we don't. We're just gonna take 2 damage.
Yep.
Oh, this is the mark.
It's possible we should have res some of this stuff on the board to get the Reaper function fire.
Oh shit! I forgot about Hermes.
Yeah, I've been forgetting about Hermes.
Yeah,
You cannot
I think
Moonpool win because you discard. Yeah, good point.
You only discard if you discard. I suppose you'd have to.
Yeah, you have to get the Moonpool thing. So this plan wasn't going to work anyway.
Okay, but we got the Hermes. So we've got 3 runs on HQ, and we hope that Jai doesn't access the measured response or win the game. Oh, and also spend some money. Okay.
Doesn't look good, does it?
I don't think it does.
Does not look good.
If I was Jai, I think I would draw and then run HQ twice. But maybe you risk hitting a Sting there and losing the game. I don't know. Oh no, if you hit Sting, you win the game. This kind of has been how every one of my games against AUCO has gone, which is they end up with single-digit cards left in R&D. I've managed to control the board, and I then just steal 5 points in a single turn to win the game. I'm assuming that's not how every one of your games playing it has gone.
No. I will say, so we, and it's really me, missed the Hermes install. Like the Hermes is really threw us off on that key turn. So if we're in a Hermes meta, I'm not sure that this is the deck that you want to play because it's doing a lot of powers that be skateboard tricks.
Okay.
And Hermes just stops you doing any of those skateboard tricks.
So if Jai doesn't click for a credit last, we can win the game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, yeah. We might be a credit short.
Go for the Reaper. Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 credits in our credit pool. Reaper's 2 to trash, right?
Need to do some maths. So Bravado is just going to gain 7, right?
We res both here.
We res the Makota. Do we have to res the Makota? I guess we have to res it.
Yeah, and you don't have to res the Reaper function, right?
I think Jai's done the maths, so. But
I guess we could res the Reaper function for free, and if he trashes, then
it's not quite free. Is the thing. Okay, Jai hadn't done the maths, but I think we're still a credit short. If there was a petty cash, there is a petty cash in the bin. I think we might have done it.
How do you kill from here?
We don't kill. We just win.
We just blonde the water.
Pretty sure we just win.
Wait, let me think. Let me figure it. Oh yeah, you just get to measured response, install blood in the water, powers that blood in the water.
Oh, you have to do it. No, I think we're 1 click.
Measured response is 4, right?
Yeah, we needed the foot. Yeah, I think we're 1 unless we
hit start turn. Wait. Do we want to do this? I guess we do, right?
Well, so it'll turn off any.
If we don't win here,
it'll turn off any moon pool lines.
Sure. So wait, the most straightforward thing is to petty cash means we're on 7 credits.
Yeah.
Click 1 is measured response. Click 2 is install blood in the water. Click 3 is advanced blood in the water, and then we get the free install, but we don't have a click to advance. Is that right?
Yeah, Hermes is going to mess it up anyway, but we are also a click short.
Is there any card that we could top deck that would help? Does installing the moon pool help?
We can't use the moon pool because we need stuff in archives.
Ooh, what if we do? What if we install so we measured response, install the blood in the water, install the moon pool? No, doesn't get us there. There's nothing we can do to just chip 1 damage. There's nothing we can do to just get a fast one. So I think we just lose.
So I don't think we are Yuko, because R&D is the safest place, and I don't think it draws us anything that can help.
No.
We do petty cash. Petty cash also turns off moon pool, by the way, I think.
Cool. Yep. Fine.
And then we measured response.
Yep. We install blood in the water. And
we're going to score it.
Advance it. Yep.
And then we're going to powers in. Doesn't really matter. We can get something back from archives, but it doesn't actually matter what we powers in, right?
Yes.
Powers in a Reaper function, but
sure. With 4 cards left in the game. But I think we just lose now.
Yeah, pretty sure we just lose now.
Look at the enemy.
I think it's the moon pool, you know.
Sure.
Had kill with sting.
No, we had.
That doesn't sound right. What have we missed? What have we missed that we had the kill with sting?
Would it be in measured response? Install. Measured response. Install sting. Install. No, I can't see it. Yeah.
I mean, I missed a sting kill last time, so like. Weird.
GG.
It's not the
Oh,
credit.
you use the Makoto Langita as the moon pool?
No, but that's not the problem, right? The problem is the moon pool. Wait, do I not know how moon pool works? I don't know how Regenesis works. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you, oh, what? You throw this. No, how, is there a sting in the bin?
No, there was a sting, and I always get confused with how moon pool works. But moon pool you can trash. It's the Regenesis that you can't. So you can't moon pool the Regenesis, but you can moon pool sting. So yeah, we could have just sting and then we just win.
Measured, install sting, install moon pool is all 3 of the clicks, and we only get 2 advancements on the moon pool.
Okay, so we don't just win. Okay, cool.
I don't think we missed a flatline.
No, we didn't.
I don't think so. But yeah, this
Not
is to me,
this time,
how,
Joe. You won that one like fair and square. Well played.
I don't. I mean, yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is how every AU game goes.
No.
Like
Not
you
at-
get to
not
5
at all.
points. You can't. There's like too many agendas and not enough stuff to do because you've milled your whole deck.
No, if you're not comfortable playing like with a really small R&D and with loads of agendas that are up for like just playing things like high tension, if that makes sense, then this probably isn't the deck for you. But usually that tension is on the runner side as well as on the corp side. So like Jai was much more in control of this game than runners usually are. And part of that is Nuka. Nuka really helps with this matchup. And part of that is Hermes disrupt. Every time we tried to make a play, like Hermes just disrupted what we were trying to do.
I feel like Reg Crim is the most popular archetype outside of the runners we've been talking about today, right? It's like,
Yeah, there's been a
gonna be
lot of
hard.
criminal at certainly at UK events. There was a lot of criminal at Reading. There's a lot of criminal at Bristol yesterday. And I assume that's
arguing-
not all deep dive.
Curses in chat arguing that also every game you don't play against Jai. I think that that's a bad argument. I don't know. I think that if your opponent, so like I've been playing this Reg Hosh, right, and I don't worry at all about the AUCO matchup with Reg Hosh. And maybe that's over. I'm like overly because the Reg Hosh matchup's bad. I guess I'm the only person in the world playing that deck, so maybe it doesn't matter if the matchup's bad. But like,
So I'm
Reg Sable has a lot of the same thing, right? It's got nukers to recover. It's got enough money to do whatever it wants. It's got a bit of disruption. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
no, it's like they come down to the wire. Like games come down to the wire. In particular, I don't even know that this was a tough matchup, but I don't even know that this is the toughest matchup. Like the Siphon Anarch matchup is can be really, really tough because they are very good at controlling the board.
Yeah, and then being safe to kills as well.
Right.
Okay, I've concluded. AUCO does not get a rose from me. I feel like we don't have to. If we don't have a game into Red Crim or Siphon Anarch, we can chalk it one up on Corp to bad, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Do you have time for one more?
I've got time for more. Yeah, I can keep going. Try and find a Corp deck that's actually good.
Okay, so next on the list is I've probably only got time for one more. So, do you want to do the Fast Advanced Wiki?
Let's do it. That sounds fun. But yeah, all of my fears about the deck, about the AU deck, were confirmed in that game. I think, well, not confirmed, but like all of the things that I worry about were present there, and they might not be present in every game.
I hear you.
Present there. Kikai Meta Optimist, not yet a Corp Doom. I knew my subtitle. I didn't know yours. That's quite funny. Oh man. Right. I'm looking forward to playing this wiki. Cursor, we're not playing your exact variant. We're playing Kikai's slightly adapted one without a measured response kill. But I'm still excited for this. I think it's gonna be fun. I think we're just gonna do fun tempo out things, right? We're gonna have loads of money, unlike in that last game.
Oh wow! I don't know about that. I like to play low to the ground, so you might find that the deck is not quite as rich as maybe you're expecting.
London, I don't know if you're willing. I'm gonna on Tuesday. I'm going to be reviewing Corp Decklists. So if you want to send yours in, I would be curious to see it. If it's a trade secret though, then no worries. But if you're up for having it discussed, I'm trying to find a Corp I like. Right. Do you have plans for the rest of your Sunday? You making a big roast or something, or are you just chilling out?
I think we're having lasagna today. I think that's what we're having.
Oh, one of the king of foods.
Yeah, we do it with red lentils. It's real good.
Ooh.
Yep. So for those who are just joining in, what we're doing is we're looking for a Corp deck for Not Yeti. This is the second date, so we've gone through a bunch of Corp lists. We've narrowed it down to 5 potentials, and I think we've now narrowed it down to 4, having taken one for a spin.
Playing against Phoenix.
So this is our dance card, and we're currently playing the Fast Advance Wiki, which we're playing into a Phoenix.
So my feeling is that the Phoenix ID ability should never fire. But Winchester is a difficult ice for the matchup. We can't play that early. Descent isn't doing a lot for us, and this money isn't good, so this is a pretty straight mulligan.
Yeah, there's something appealing about having a Winchester on the innermost of HQ, but I think you're right. It's a very difficult res for us. KPI is pretty good, but yeah, I think you're right. I think we can have a better hand in this.
Okay. So we have some HQ ice. What else are we doing? Are we going to play the pit cash because we get a draw?
Exactly. So I think it's very different.
Ooh, that's better.
That's better. Yeah, so it's a bit different. We could, if we can hold on to the petty cash to Plutus it into the bin, that's pretty strong. Open with hedge fund.
Open with hedge fund. So Chris in chat, neither Kikai or I have ever actually seen The Bachelor, so I don't know what a fantasy suite is. But if you could provide us to some world building, some lore, that'd be great. Thank you. So Ashran HQ, and then I guess Spin Doctor on the table.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Cursor saying Phoenix should never fire is a very big should. I mean, personally, Phoenix is going to fire. Like, I don't know how. Like, we're just going to we're going to manage it, right? We can't stop it. We just manage it. Oh, hey, that's rough.
We take this. We spin this Doctor.
And are we shuffling the hedge back?
Yeah, I think so. Good enough draw at any board state, I think.
Just because we've got the Plutus, you'd be tempted not to. Because we've now got one less Plutus target. Like, I think this is correct. And I think spinning back 0 cards to deny the clean getaway is just... maybe just bad-mannered.
We res here. Yep. That getaway was not clean, correct, Jai. But they got the 0 card. Hey! Now this Phoenix is doing some stuff. Oh, this is a friend of ours. This is Ali's local to us, or is near enough. Say hello from Not Yeti in the chat, please. All right.
Okay.
Vovo. This is one of the cards I liked to the look of in your list. So we play this petty cash, right?
Yeah, that seems right.
We did not get the card we were looking for. So you put the drafter on R&D?
Yeah, that's what it's there for. That makes sense.
And then you can install the Vovo on R&D, or you can install the Spin Doctor on the table.
I think both are fine.
Yeah, I don't see them face checking the R&D to get the Vovo damage, so yeah. And if you put the Vovo there, they would just trash the Vovo because it's not an end the run. So
Yeah, it's a lot more appealing to get the Vovo down once the second ice is installed. Meathus says Vovo over Mercy seems wrong to me. Funnily enough, the list started with both as the elevation power couple, but we found that with KPI the Mercia was kind of unnecessary.
Do we res this drafter?
With the raindrops, maybe not.
I don't think we do.
I think we just let it in.
Yep.
We don't have any high value targets yet.
It would be a Phoenix trigger as well, so yeah.
I like ducking the raindrops.
The lore is that the final 3 contestants of every season get one night alone with the lead for holding hands.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess that would be sleeving the deck, right? If I actually physically build a deck, that's a fantasy suite. So we are getting a Phoenix trigger here.
Are we resing? Do we res spin?
No, we just chuck the Azef in the bin.
Yeah, that's actually a good shout. The Azef is really quite difficult to score.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, I like...
No money, the Plutus trash isn't going to matter.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's smart.
There we go.
We can just res the spin.
Yep. So we have a Buzzsaw, so scoring behind the Afshar seems hard. Do we put a Plutus Makoto drafter server out there and just say with Allion 1 credit that we aren't worried about the Plutus?
I don't think so for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is drafter is meant to go on R&D, it's not meant to go on the remote. We haven't drawn any of the ice that's supposed to go on the remote yet. I also don't think we do it because Plutus right now, we haven't drawn any of the agendas that we want to score. So we're not incentivized to put the Plutus on the table.
So we play the hedge fund. Drawing a card. Okay. Now, do we start effectively turtling up? Because like the second Afshar HQ does damage, even if it's ultimately breakable.
I think we're turtling up, and I think we're discarding a Plutus.
You don't need to discard a card, do you?
Yeah. Oh no, we don't. Yeah, I think we're just turtling up, right?
Yeah. Draft on R&D, Afshar HQ.
There's no. Is there any merit to icing archives?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know
Maybe
what Phoenix. I don't know what Phoenix does. Meathir, yep, this is Fast Advanced Wiki. All of the agendas probably will be Fast Advanced. That's the plan. Alright, hopefully we draw an ice. Hopefully we draw a lamplighter or something like that.
Oh yeah, is that the high water mark?
Okay. We need to save the petty cash as a fast advance tool, which kind of locks us into playing this KPI and hoping that it draws us a piece of ice. It's kind of awkward. We could put spin on the table, like put the Volvo on R&D, put the Makota on the spin, but it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about any of that. Yeah, let's use the first spin to shuffle back the spin that. Let's use the current spin to shuffle back the spin that's on the table, right? So, yeah. I think don't play the petty cash. You just trash this spin to res a spin.
What's over install?
Yeah, basically.
That makes sense to me.
Then res the
And then res the spin.
I think so. We got a lamplighter.
Put that on top of the spin.
I was just gonna say a new remote, but you could. If you think we're gonna use the spin before long.
Put in a new remote. And then what, just Vovo R&D?
Yeah, that sounds sensible to me.
KPI draw first. Yeah, the problem is we didn't know what the KPI was going to draw us.
Wildcat Strike. On 1 credit, I think they can have 4 cards. Especially about the ban hard down yet. I've somehow managed to make it so that your stream is nowhere near as big as it was on my screen. Hey, there we go. Fixed it. Alright, we're going to hit into 2 drafters. This feels good. Res drafter. We are going to get Phoenix at the end of this, which is important to remember.
Mm-hmm. But we've got petty cash that can go in the bin, right?
Yeah. Okay, so.
Get a spin?
We fire.
Pick up a hedge? Install a spin?
You could install the spin and pick up a hedge. What were you doing on the second one?
I don't know.
You're going to install a Plutus and...
Yeah, I like that.
I wonder if we need to do some... But yeah, install the spin, install the hedge. Oh, pick up the hedge. Feels good. And then, so this one is install the Plutus, or maybe the Makota Langit, probably the Plutus.
So we're picking up the Azef, did you say?
I think you pick up the Azef just because you can.
And then, did you say Plutus?
I think so.
We can score this Azef next turn if we want.
Yeah. And then we'll chuck out the petty cash.
Yep.
And is Vovo 2 to trash?
Yep.
Okay, but decides not to. 2 draftifiers. That's what you get in a normal game. London would have put the Azef on the table. No way they check it. Think you res the lamplighter?
I mean, immediately checks it. We just res this, right?
Yeah.
And then they've got a tag to deal with. Seems fine.
We're not on any copies of Greasing, are we?
No, we're not playing greasing. It's the fast advanced tools is just the Plutus petty cash and slash and burn and nanotech.
Okay, so if we res here, we can't petty cash and we can't, but we would end the run.
Yeah,
If we...
This is actually a really nice run and makes me think we should not have res the lamplighter because she couldn't trash the Plutus anyway. This is a really nice run. We've already had a Phoenix fire, so it's not the end of the world. But I think you're right. We're just letting her in, right?
Yeah.
Are we resing the spin?
No.
No, I don't think we are either.
You missed the fire, but it's fired. Cool.
We could res Plutus to put Azef in the bin if you want.
Are we happy chucking out a Plutus? I guess we want there to be more things in the bin. Does Plutus go 0 to res?
Yep.
Yeah, do it. I want the hedge fund in the bin. So
Yeah.
chuck out the Plutus, the hedge fund, and the Asif. Or do you want to check out the KPI?
I want to throw out the KPI, I think.
Do it. Hits the Makoto, which we can't trash.
It would have been nice to score the Azef next turn, but I think you're right. I think playing the hedge fund's more important.
Everything we're doing here is very silly. For what it's worth.
I like it. We're picking cards up. We're
We're
throwing them away. We're putting like cards are just moving all around the table. It's my kind of netrunner. Just fire Plutus. Do we res the spin first to see if we draw an agenda?
Yeah, trash the spinter as a spin before we do anything else. I like that.
We didn't. Oh, we did draw Green Mill, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but we can do that on the same turn we score this.
So play the hedge, I guess.
Fun. Yep.
And then just score the Green Mail.
I agree.
Move over to HQ, I guess.
Yep. So what's our play next turn? Do you reckon? We've got a logjam in hand. That's gonna be pretty good somewhere.
We've got this KPI that's going to let us install that logjam for free.
Yep. Our opponent's clicked for 4. So yeah, let's start off with the KPI, I guess.
We'll play the KPI. So if we gain money first, we'll also get the draw.
Yep. And then we'll install logjam. Yep.
R&D.
Whoa. Okay.
It's up to you. Like I think
I'm
it's
happy with that.
R&D or the remote.
Yeah, I'm happy with. I have R&D. We've got another Plutus to replace. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
We top deck the nano management. Don't think we play it.
We're a little too poor for that, right?
Stick the Makoto Langi on serve 3.
Do we have a face-up agenda in archives?
Yeah.
That armed asset protection is going to pop off.
Yeah. Are you gonna play that?
I mean, we play it, right? Like it's going to pop off.
Get it in the bin. Yeah.
Do we draw first?
Yeah, I think that's the other thing we're doing this turn. So unless we're playing the descent, but I don't think we are. Nice. Vovo can stay. I think HQ is the server we care about the most.
Yeah, I think that's true. Popping this for what? Spin and Azef?
Yep. Bravadoing. I think we res this logjam. We kind of want that stuff to stay in the bin. It's a pretty small logjam though.
Yeah. I think probably one of these drafters can go. There's maybe something as a take away from this game.
They can go to the Asif trash that we're about to do. Play a petty cash.
Draw card? Question mark.
Yeah, I think so. We can just check out this descent.
We can try out this descent. And you want to just trash one of these drafters?
That would have been my guess, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I got. It could have been the Volvo, I guess.
Yeah. Nope.
So this is the bit about playing the deck that I like, is the runner doesn't know that there's another petty cash in the bin. Like, I've made plays with this deck where I have deliberately overdrawn to discard petty cash rather than playing the petty cash, so that the runner doesn't know that I'm threatening to fast advance the next turn.
We've installed banner. Does that mean we get 2 credits?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And we let drafter fire?
Yeah, it probably means we're putting the drafter back, right?
Yeah. There's not a spin doctor in the bin anymore, is there?
No, this is all we've got.
Cool.
So we can pick up armed asset if you want.
Yeah.
And just stick the drafter back on R&D.
Sounds good. We could have picked up the descent there in case they do hit an agenda.
Oh, that's true.
The descent, but I don't think that's a big deal.
What do you want to trash?
Either armed asset or Plutus.
Guess
Guess it's the armed asset.
guess it's Plutus because like we only need to. We're only going to use it once more.
Sure.
And like rezzing the next Plutus is actually going to be kind of hard.
Armed asset protection off the books and descent. So there is a descent 2 down. So it will be the top card of the deck. When we play it, we'll actually draw it into hand. If we take our petty cash trigger here. We could descent and score the green mail. Or we could just let some points go.
Oh, sorry, I've hit the petty cash.
That's fine, that's fine. So we've got the descent in hand. So you could expend descent to shuffle back the agenda that's in archives.
We've only got one more petty cash. We're really incentivized to. This is why I'm apologizing for clicking it, because we're really incentivized to use this as a AZF scoring turn.
Okay, I believe that.
I guess we don't have to, because I guess we could nano an AZF and then wait to draw slash and burn.
I'm very 50-50 on it. I think we can just let 2 points go, but
Yeah, I think that's.
what are you trashing?
It's the Vovo, or is it the Makota? It might just be the Makota, right?
Makota Langit seems right.
What do you want to pitch?
Chuck out Winchester, or maybe.
Oh, we check out an armed asset, right? Because then we can Plutus it.
Sure. Oh yeah, we don't have any trades at the moment.
Yeah. Do you want to move Vovo? I guess we do.
Yeah, more likely on R&D, and also if you're stargating, you don't get to trash Vovo.
That makes sense. Tiff, yeah, we're fast advancing all 7 points. That's the plan. We're raindropsing into HQ. Oh, this is just to get the raindrops draw because they're not actually getting in.
That's true. So I guess
Just
we don't have to res.
no res.
Kind of a cute play.
Yeah, I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mogwai.
So, not to like totally spoil my opinion of the deck, we haven't even finished yet. It doesn't feel like we should have been able to get away with this. I don't think that we put up an obstacle that like would have at any point stopped any of the decks that I'm worried about. I might be wrong, but resing a 2-strength logjam feels pretty rough.
You do weird things in the Phoenix matchup, and I think that's broadly true of most decks.
As res this Afshan.
I don't actually. That's not completely true. If you play AUCO into Phoenix, you pretty much just deploy your normal game plan.
PT is kind of similar. You just stick your eyes on the remote server in R&D and like don't worry about it. Fire.
So I think that's just a feature of the logjam into Phoenix is weird.
yeah, everything's weird into Phoenix, I guess, but I guess that's not one of the matchups I'm worried about. Jai says there's no way Petty Cash causes Heliamphora to see play, right? I do have a runner deck that's playing. We win the game.
Yeah, we win the game.
I do have a runner deck that's playing Heliamphora, and I think that runner deck is cool. But there's absolutely no reason to play it when runners are this strong, and there are no playable Corp deck. But yeah, that we're winning on turn 9 in like a game where we're like in a comfortable position. Seems good. Seems like about as fast as you want to win the like your comfortable games. And we got to Red or Ice. Like, I'd have to take Zwicky back out on some JNet, but I will sleeve it. I will play it at the pub if that's like date 2.5.
So yeah, you need another date with Zwicky.
Yeah, but everything I've seen from Zwicky looks like, if nothing else, it's fun. Like, it looks comparable to my PT deck in a lot of ways. And if I gave PT 3 roses, let's give Zwicky a rose. I'm still not massively keen on it or anything we've seen yet, but that was fun. Thank you very much for spending some time doing that.
It was good fun. I think the Zwicky deck we're still working on it, right? We're still tweaking it. Like, some of the slots aren't quite right. Some amount of measured response probably right as well. But I think as long as you don't go overboard on the like Plutus, RLC, greasing lines, because I don't think you need. Because like my worry is if you go too overboard on that, the Plutus gets trashed and you've got nothing. You've got no like plan B. But we can play nano management, right? The Plutus can just make us the money to play nano management, and that's fine. We can play slash and burns. Like, I don't think we need to be all in on Plutus fast advance.
Yeah, I liked our money. I thought that this was good. It makes everything I've seen of it. This seems good. I can imagine this being the best reg deck, best reg corp, for sure. And yeah. Jai's promising to send me a seamless Nuvum, which I'd be very keen to see. I just opened up the Nuvum list from last meta and started wondering what tools this got. So I'll be curious to see what you do with this. But yeah, is that us done? Are we wrapping up here?
Yeah, that's us done. Thanks a lot for joining and for hanging out today. Thanks. I hope this has been
for the technical issues at the start.
a lot. At least half the technical issues were my fault. Remember, add to the list of things to do for a stream. Remember to unmute. Thanks everyone for joining and for hanging out. Thanks to Ashenface Jai and Ali Fix for playing games with us. I hope you all had fun, and we'll be doing this again or something similar same time next week. So come hang out again.
Also, one thing worth saying, a Leo deck just won Polish Nationals, so maybe that's...
Oh,
wow. Maybe that's the corp that I'll be looking at next.
Was it Leo Barry? Because that would be wild. That would be out of this world.
It was Leo Hosh.
Okay.
I bet it's Skunk Void Leo and like Reg Hosh. But we shall see.
Look forward to digging into those stats.
The least new cards played out of any decks. But yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for a Surveyor article this week, and yeah, catch you all later.
See you all on Tuesday for some deck reviews. Right. Bye.